Audio starting as well.
Too far behind me. You can put it like on the ground.
Well, the phone?
Yeah. I'm looking and actually getting some mics. Not the big old fancy ones, but like the portable.
Oh no, I have a mini that I like a lot. It's like $50. The clip-on mini. I'll send you a picture of the box. No. It actually sits up, and you can get like 2 of them, and they'll get total soundscape. Yeah.
Wow,
And they even message like decibels, so you can send it negative, so it picks up less or pick up more.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'd love to look into that because I only have one that I'm looking into, and I haven't really checked it out fully. So.
Damn, that's wild.
But yeah.
Yo, or you can get a snowball. Snowballs are like $100. Those are really nice.
My brother has one.
Snowballs are really nice. Sorry, all the music recording I do, I know mics.
My brother has one for his gaming that he does. Yeah. It's a really good mic. I mean, it gets the job done. No down. So, all right. Welcome back, guys, to another episode of the Bull City Pioneers podcast. My name is Hector.
My name is Luis.
And today we have a very special guest with us here. Would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm Arvind. I know Hector from high school, and I'm meeting Luis today.
Nice to meet you, man.
Absolutely.
We'll first start off with getting to know more about you and what it is that you do and what I guess your passions and what you do.
Wild. So in terms of the whole entrepreneurship thing, I actually started when I was 13 years old.
Wow.
I was taking old junk from my mom, my aunt, and from my grandparents, and everyone I could, and I was flipping it on eBay. So it started off as making $2 to $3 to $4 on eBay, and my mom had a packaging center at work. So I would put them in her car in the morning before she left to work, and she'd stop them off at the packaging center, and they'd send them off. My eBay page turned into more and more to the point where I was selling $400 to $500 a week. And by the time I was 15, I'd made a little over $4,000 or $5,000 in sales off of eBay, taking people's junk and really just flipping it, because everything you own has a purpose. But in fact, even one time my mom told me, I don't like this dining room table anymore we had, and that evening I got it sold. So that's how I started everything. In high school, I sort of just slowed it down, but then when I went to college, I got back in the entrepreneurship game with just working on a sports program. That what I was doing was basically in the athletics area, for training, for exercising, for weightlifting, and basically gamifying fitness. The program was really cool. Basically, the longer you stayed at the gym, the more you worked out, the more points you got at your local places to get discounts on.
Was this like an app? Or?
Yeah, it was an app. It was
okay.
an actual app, that we were doing. And, I owned it up till a couple months ago, where finally I just was tired, and I was at the time, I've been traveling lately, so I've been out for a while, and I decided to sell what little, the little stuff I had and give the data away to people, and I shut that down. And now, since I've been back, my new project is my new program called Knowledge Block. I'm working on a nonprofit to actually bring school supplies and get itemized lists of what teachers need back to their schools. So Knowledge Block is the new thing I'm doing. We are going to do our first drive in 2 weeks. So I will head to the border of North Carolina. Yeah.
Oh, is this in Durham or where is this?
So I have a school. I haven't had many replies in Durham, but I've had 4 replies from schools close to the South Carolina border that really, really need some help. They're not getting almost anything. And so we're just trying to do as much as we can to help out schools. So actually, teachers send me a list of what they need for their students, and I send it to them in boxes. And I've had so many donations, so much help already, and I don't even have a website up yet. So it seems like people are really, really down for the cause. And, working on it.
I remember you telling me about that, because me and Arvind actually met up a couple weeks back, and we were talking about this. We literally sat in the mall for an hour.
We did.
And he told me about that, his business and stuff like that, and I was really, really, really inspired and impressed by what he's done so far, especially at such a young age now, man, because we have so much available to us now in this age, and it's crazy what you've done already. And even in high school, I didn't really know you like that. I would just see you around school and stuff like that a little bit, but I always kind of felt a certain vibe from you. I'm I know this kid got something. I feel something from this guy, and hearing now that you've done all this stuff, and it's really, really awesome that you took the initiative to actually bring something to the community and do something for other people, and you're doing that out of heart. So that's really
man.
inspiring.
I don't know. I mean, I I grew up single mom, and we were not a lot of money, and you know, immigrant family. We came here. My mom and dad came here from a different country 20 years ago, and really wanted to make a name for us, you know, and really wanted to give. So the goal for me was just to provide as much as I could, you know. The junk I sold for my mom, you know, helped put food on the table, helped, you know, bring us with something, and it was actually a really, really cool way of doing that. So yeah,
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, man, that's dope.
That's something.
And going back to your eBay business, it's I think it's really impressive that you managed to make so much money at such a young age just doing that.
Yeah.
It really reminds me of what you gonna do? We're outside, so
it happens.
It really reminds me of Gary Vaynerchuk, and I'm pretty sure many people have heard of this, but I'm more than positive you didn't even know of this guy when you were doing this. So the fact that you thought of doing that on your own, and you have that already like that entrepreneurial spark in your head, like you had it from the get-go, and you've had experience, so you kind of already know like how to maneuver the game.
eBay is a weird place because eBay is very like, you can list something 6 to 7 times and it doesn't sell. And you think, okay, I'll just forget about this because it's not going to sell. But then you post it up for the 8th time and it sells. eBay is a very like, it's a buyer's market, so you got to tend to the buyer. And also eBay, the reason it took me so long to make even $4,000 was because it is a very like, you invest and you get money back, you know? So I take that 100 and flip it and make only 125 after. And I take that 125, flip it, and you make it to 150 next time. And I lost a lot of times, man.
So that's where you went.
Yeah, what was big? It was, I thought everyone was gonna be like so into some Jordan out there, and I bought like 2 or 3 pairs, and no one wanted them. So I ended up like, you know, losing a bunch of money, but it happens, like you said. I mean,
Did you at least wear them?
I wore one of them, and then they weren't cool anymore, so I didn't wear them. But no, I mean, eBay is a very interesting sort of way to make money. But like anybody can use it, you know. If you want an extra, you know, $1,000, $2,000 in a year, eBay is the way to do it. And if you really focus your time, there are people making $25,000, $30,000 a year, you know. But if you can get into it, like, not to hate on eBay, but Amazon is even better because Amazon has an even more reputable deal. You know, they got Prime now, they got all those different things. So Amazon's the next step for where I want to go, with just like taking care of people's stuff.
You've dabbled in that already?
Yeah, but getting an account with them is a lot more expensive. It's a lot more time consuming, but it's well worth the investment because, you know, you sell and it's a lot more backed up on you versus eBay, where people are trying to get like a penny less, 2 pennies less. So Amazon's definitely Amazon's taking over the world, so you might as well join, you know, why fight it?
Wi-Fi, yeah.
There
you go.
Amazon's a monster, man.
Oh yeah.
Great one though.
Sure.
For real.
Yeah, for real.
Except, I mean, it is ruining all the local businesses, which we all own one, so maybe not the greatest thing. It's all good.
And so you're really into sneakers too, right?
I am, yeah.
I guess what would you say is like your favorite sneaker?
I don't know, man. At the beginning, I was like in love with you know, I love 2 people. I love 2 people a lot, LeBron and Yeezy. But of course, after the recent Yeezy drama, I don't know how much I'm into the whole Yeezy stuff anymore. But LeBron, like, I've got one of every LeBron you can think of, and I spent a lot of money on LeBron because, you know, excellence is greatness, you know. And it's not talent, it's not about, you know, luck, it's about putting in the hard work every day. And I don't know a single man who's worked harder in the athletics than maybe him. And, you know, maybe you can put in the Peyton Manning, those guys, but James LeBron is the GOAT. Oh, I just said it, but, you know, yeah, that's my favorite sneaker.
Do you showcase them, or do you actually wear them?
I do have collector's items. I've got a few things that were like LeBron James, the 4s came out with a birthday edition. Me and LeBron James have the same birthday, so I had to get a pair.
Whoa.
So
that's crazy.
They come with their own custom case. I've got the South Beach LeBron 8s. Those are wild. You know, I've got the Yeezys. I've got a few different things, but some things I show, but I always tell people, like, it's got to go on your feet. Like, at the end of the day, they are shoes, you know? There's no reason they can't go on your feet.
Maybe you might wear them for like a couple tries and then just like store them back up, or like.
There's always a reason to bring them back out, dude. There's always a reason to bring out a pair of shoes.
But have you bought a pair knowing that you're gonna wear them maybe 2 or 3 times and then like flipped it?
No, man, I don't think I don't know how I feel about
people do that.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about flipping sneakers. I think the game is getting way too saturated. I think there's too many people, and you know, like it frustrates me, like these like 12-year-olds trying to flip sneakers and do all that stuff now. I don't know if I want to be part of that, because I grew up in Chicago, and I grew up in Miami, two areas where like the hip hop culture and the sneaker culture is huge. And like, you know, I didn't have the money to get a pair of shoes all the time. So, you know, if I did get a pair of shoes, they were like that thing. You know, you kept them in the box, you wiped them off when you came home.
Every step
you're just like wondering what's going on. If someone stepped on your shoes, you were not in a good mood. But when I turned like 16 and I had more money, that's when I really started. Actually, in high school, just like, I mean, it was bad, man. Like, you just, I gotta save, but at the same time, you know, I gotta look fresh for myself. Yeah.
Now, is it more like, are you more do you like runners at all?
I do. I'm working at like my actual like job while I go to college. I work at a biomechanics running store, and what we do is we actually help with injury management. We help with sort of any biomechanical functions for performance and stuff like that. So I'm also in a bunch of runners. Like, it's not all about Nike. You know, there's a lot of other brands that actually sell a lot of really fresh stuff, which is really dope. But
now, big question, is it Nike or Adidas?
Oh yeah, come on, now. You gotta answer that. You gotta answer that.
Oh man, for me, it's
That's
Nike.
Right here, man.
Nike?
Right here.
No, it's Nike.
Man.
Adidas is, I mean, a fantastic brand. They always do great stuff. But again, it's like understanding about entrepreneurship. Phil Knight, if you don't know who he is, you definitely need to take a look. 1971, I think, or 79. Bad, that's a huge gap. But one of those years, the company was started, and he built prototypes in his garage. And understanding that Nike came from literally this, like out of a garage, to the huge, came from nothing to the huge company it is now. Again, that's probably why I love him so much.
It's kind of crazy because knowing that I have my own clothing brand as well. Like once I started getting into streetwear and like more into clothes and stuff like that, I didn't know anything about sneakers. I'm being honest. Like, I don't know. I still know very little compared to what you probably know. Like I know very little. But like I did not even know that Adidas was originally, or what is pronounced Adidas. Like, I didn't even know that. But I just thought
I didn't know that either.
That's how Americanized I feel like we are. Like I literally thought that it was like in America. Like, like I did not even know that. So I mean, like the fact that I did learn that kind of took me out of like that little bubble that I was in. And I need to step up my game and learn a little bit more about this. No, dude,
there's a lot of cool brands out there. When I was in Beijing just a month ago, wow, I can't believe I was in Beijing just a month ago. I was at this place called the Pearl Market. So if you know anything about Beijing, the country China has decided to, for their personal reasons, ban Facebook, WhatsApp, Snapchat, all of those things. So they have a different system known as WeChat. But on WeChat, the only sneakers you really see is a brand called Finu, which was so hyped in the 80s here, and they're a vintage brand here. And so you pay like $100, $200 to get the high top pair, but in Beijing they're like $10, $12 a pair. Wow. I searched and no, I could not. I searched and searched and searched. I asked everybody. I was like, can you give me these? I just translating on my phone in Mandarin, like, please help me find a pair. And funny enough, because of the American demand on that brand in the 90s, there's so little supply in Beijing now for that brand. So almost all of them are in Japan, Europe, and the Americas.
That's crazy.
And they stopped making them in China because no one in China wanted a pair.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But that's talking about exploring your look, man.
Now, what were some of the other? Well, what was the reasoning for you like traveling over to Asia and visiting all these places?
Yeah.
So
So I left January 1st. I was accepted to a program. I study at UNC, even though we're in Duke country. I study at UNC, and I was accepted into a program where I got to study at the Chinese University of Hong Kong for 5 months. I was studying sports science, and I was also doing music. And I was accepted onto the program. I was brought in. I was one of 2 people from UNC to go, and the traveling was sort of subsidiary to me studying, but of course, there was a reason I didn't have classes on Friday, so I could leave Thursday night and be out of there and go travel. But I was living in Hong Kong. I had gone to Cambodia. I was in Taiwan. I was in Malaysia. I was in Sabah, Malaysia, Kota Kinabalu, and then I was also in Macau, and I also did mainland China, Beijing. So, the whole time was, as much as I love UNC, it was the best college experience I've had so far. Just as a whole, getting to travel, meet so many new people, open up your horizons, you know. Yeah, I mean, there were experiences there that I will never be able to replicate. And, you know, as a business owner, it makes you realize, like, how much you can do. You know, there's people, you know, in Hong Kong, there's people who own a little 4x5 stall, but they're making their livelihood by selling, you know, rooms or selling little puppets made, you know, they make themselves and making a livelihood. So, you know, they have nothing and they do it there. We can totally do it here. You know, that's a cool aspect of it.
And I bet your experiences there, like traveling to these places, also made you even hungrier to, like, to travel even more, right?
Yeah.
And do what you can in those locations.
You know, I was in Cambodia and I was in Phnom Penh on the last day I was in Cambodia, and I was talking to the tuk-tuk driver because he spoke English, which is pretty hard to find. And you know, I asked him, I said, what does your day look like? And so he drives a tuk-tuk and an auto rickshaw. It can only take 3 people, and he takes them around town. He says, I get up at 4 a.m. and I start working. I work all day long until 1 a.m. and then I come home. I make food for my family. I go to bed at 2-ish.
Wow.
I wake up and I do it again. He's like, sometimes if I don't have a lot of work, like during the weekdays, I'll take a nap from like 2-ish to 4-ish, 2-ish to 5-ish, and then start my day again. He's like, that's my life. I do it every single day of the week. And you know, I'm complaining when I only have like 1 day off of work or something, and this guy's doing it every day, and he's been doing it for 12 years, he had told me.
Wow.
And I had asked, do you ever think about going to college? Do you ever think about, you know, gaining any experience, investing money? What do you do? And he's like, you know, you have that opportunity. I don't have that opportunity. He's like, I have a wife, I have kids. It's like, I have to just do whatever I can to spend that money and invest it back in them. So like, I mean, it opens your eyes to see how much you have here and how little people have everywhere else, you know? You know, it's crazy. And that day, he drove for an hour. And, you know, I paid him full price. Of course, I don't haggle when I'm in these countries, but, you know, he only charged me the equivalent of about $20 US. And he drove us, you know, got there, waited for us, and drove us back, you know, 2-3 hours worth of driving, $20, you know? And, yeah, that's life.
Realize too, like sometimes when I'm at the house and I realize that my siblings are like over there complaining about little stuff, like, oh, Hector, you took a bite out of my ice cream or something like that, or like, oh, this food is too cold.
Why are you taking bites out of their ice cream though?
Hey man, it happens sometimes, you know.
It looks good. You gotta do it.
But I mean, even though it's like small, minor stuff, like those little things are what contribute to like long-term mentalities and stuff. Like even like the greater entrepreneurs who talk about like starting with little good habits and then they'll transition into good big habits. It's the same thing with the little stuff. Big thanks to all my pioneers for checking out this lovely video that we put together. Thank you guys again for tuning into this video. Sorry for the video being cut short. Sadly, my camera tends to act up sometimes and doesn't want to record the whole thing. But if you want to check out the full audio, go check us over on Anchor and on Apple Podcasts, on iTunes, and on SoundCloud. You can check it out there. It was a great conversation. We had a blast with Arvind. Thanks again, guys, for Arvind for tuning into this one and being a part of it. Also, big shout out to my friend Corel on IG at The Real Corel Official for the music on this episode. Really appreciate it. You guys go and check his stuff out. He's got dope stuff. And yeah, you guys make sure to stay tuned for the next episode, and we'll keep them coming. Thanks again. See ya.